I'm David William Hedrick from Camas, Washington. And I heard the first time that we had one of these town halls, our president said he didn't even know that we were having it. He wasn't even aware of it. But we're not stopping. We're going to keep going. So I have a question for our president, Barack Hussein Obama. Can you hear us now? Now, 3 weeks ago, I never would have expected to be up here on this stage. The most people I had ever spoken before was about 40 in my college classroom. But on one fateful night, I decided to go challenge my congressman at a town hall. About 3,000 people were there, and I never expected that I would get called. I didn't even prepare a statement, I didn't prepare a question, and I just jotted down what I wanted to say on paper. But I spoke from the heart, and I told him exactly the message that we have for him. I didn't show up to that meeting as a Democrat or a Republican, and I definitely didn't show up as a Nazi or a McVeigh supporter like I was told. I showed up as an American citizen who's sick and tired of a government who wants to tax us out of existence and control every single minute aspect of our lives. Now I want to say a little something about stealing. Stealing at its most basic level is taking something that belongs to someone else against their will. There's a lot of ways to steal. You can steal when you break into someone's house in the middle of the night. You can steal by breaking in their car and taking their CD player. You can steal by shoplifting candy from a local convenience store. And you can also steal with a vote. No matter how you steal, you are still a thief. And that goes for congressmen, senators, and presidents too. You have no right to vote away the property of an American and hand that property over to someone else. And now, as most of you have heard recently, the thief-in-chief, as I call him, wants to address our children. Now, you might have heard me say it to Brian Baird before, and now I want to say it to you, Mr. President. Stay away from our kids. It doesn't take government. It takes two loving parents to raise children. And I don't care what Hillary told you, it does not take a village. And now, of course, as we all know, some might call them socialist and some might call them Marxist, but whatever you call them, we know they want to take over our healthcare system. They're using what they call a constitutional interpretation to do this. Now, we all know that when a statist determines to interpret the Constitution, as they call it, that's code for I'm about to lie. And I have news for them. A government-run entitlement program has nothing at all to do with regulating commerce between states. The American people aren't buying it because we are not that stupid. And to those of you who support it, and I know that there's got to be a few of you out there, if you like the Canadian healthcare system so much, let me make a suggestion. Pack up your Prius and start driving north. And when you encounter lines outside every hospital, you'll know you've reached your destination. And to all of you politicians who are planning on voting for this bill, or any version of this bill that takes over our healthcare system and subverts the will of the majority of Americans, I want you to get out your resumes and dust them off, because you're going to need them. And never forget that we are the same country. We are the same Americans that threw out King George for far less. And next time you hear your friends, or some of you might have them as friends, but those who say that they don't like capitalism, those who say they don't like freedom, they don't like our liberty, they don't like our Constitution, remind those people that they have 194 other countries to choose from. Now, I'm very proud to see you all here today, giving up your holiday. Some of you have brought your families, and it's good to see children here participating in our process and showing them exactly what Americans do. We're here in defiance of a tyrannical government. We're here in defiance of a government who wants to tax us to death. We're here in defiance of ridiculous laws and a government that wants to redistribute wealth to those who they see fit. We're here in defiance of unfunded government welfare program after unfunded government welfare program. And instead of fixing them, all they want to do is create another unfunded government welfare program. Now, I asked my congressman, and other individuals have asked him, how are you going to make sure that you don't move from this new program, you don't take those funds and move them into the general fund, just like you did with Social Security and every other program you have? His response was, we're going to have a firewall that prevents that. Now, I don't know about you, but a firewall sounds an awful lot like a Social Security lockbox to me. And we've heard this one before. Now, why we don't have the majority of the local Portland population here, I want to remind you something that Samuel Adams said. And when I say Samuel Adams, I'm talking about, not about the local one who likes to hang out with underage kids. The real Samuel Adams. It does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. It is up to us here to be that tireless and irate minority. And you know what? Tomorrow when we go back to work, when we go back to school, when we go back to see our friends, we've got some brush fires to set. Thank you. God bless.
There have been 22% fewer tax rebellions in the last century than the previous two. If tax revolts have been going down and taxes have been going up, perhaps there needs to be more tax revolts. My name is Thomas Hann. I'm a card-carrying member of We the People in Vancouver, Washington. We've been fighting against unjust and inappropriate taxes since well before 1773. There was a Tea Party in Boston where We the People stood up, took direct and legal action to oppose taxes. There's a tall ship entering our waters on Saturday, September 12th, and we're going to make some history. The Amazing Grace tall ship left Gig Harbor, Washington this morning to sail down to Portland. We'll meet her in Vancouver, and we plan to protest taxes and a number of other things. We want to see a citizens' government restored as we reclaim America for we the people. We need to raise our expectations for representation, and we need new statesmen and new stateswomen who will meet these higher standards. The amazing Victoria Taft, Americans for Prosperity, Evergreen Freedom Foundation, and a number of other great speakers are lined up to promote we the people and our civic ownership. So please join us for a Boston-style Tea Party on Saturday, September 12th at the Vancouver Landing Amphitheater. The rally starts at 1 p.m. The music will start at noon. After the rally, you can join Colonial Patriot Thomas Paine on a freedom sail from Vancouver to right here in downtown Portland. So limited passes are still available. Come see us at the Blue Tent afterwards if you're interested. God bless. Thanks.